We are very happy to have you here in this workshop. So if you are ready, please, let's start the piece. Thank you. Great, very good. Congratulations. Very good, very nice. Let me speak a little bit first about the composer Béla Kovács, and then a little bit about Hungarian folk songs in general, or folk music in general. So Béla Kovács was, or he's still a Hungarian clarinetist and composer as well. He was very, very famous, especially in the 70s, 80s, 90s in Hungary. And this volume, which called Homage, is one of the most famous compositions by him. Later on, he composed new pieces, new homages to other composers, mainly with piano accompaniment. And also, he added piano accompaniment for these pieces as well. So briefly, let's speak about Hungarian folk songs, és most fogom a vetítést kérni. Let me show you a little bit about a form of a Hungarian folk song. So here in this piece, the theme is actually an already written folk song, or a folk song what we used to sing traditionally. And as you see, there are 4 lines. So 2 bars means 1 line, 1 section, 1 phrase. And as you see, he wrote parlando rubato, which is very typical in this style for this folk musics. The lyric and the content of this music, mostly very sad, imitates mourning. So in Spanish, it's el luto or el duelo or una lamentación. So it's if you get to know with Hungarian folk music, unfortunately, mostly are very sad and very painful. And also the lyric of this is not so happy neither. Fine. So what we have to achieve here, actually, to imitate singers. That's why we use parlando. That means the bars should be much more flexible. You don't have to play very strict misurato way. It's much more flexible. And as you see here on the slide, I would like to give you some ideas about it. Let me show you first, and I will explain it later. So this is an option, what I recommend you. You don't have to follow it. This is just only an option. Okay, so megint a vetítést szeretném kérni. Rendben. So let me give you an idea. So for example, the first line, we stop a little bit after the first line. And after the third line as well, a little bit we stop. And the second line, we go forward. This is what we can try now, okay? And as you see, all of the lines has this descending movement. So first we have an E, then a D, then a C, and an A. And also you can describe it a little bit with the dynamic as well. Can we try it? Great, much better, much better. I really liked it. Let me give you 2 comments for this. So he wrote mezzo forte. So you can be a little bit more open to hear also as you play. So what I used to recommend to my students, that if you focusing on your sternum, so this bone, your chest and your chin, so if these 2 points are going a little bit upward, could help you to be opened. Your lungs will be bigger, you have more air, and also on the stage, you look more confident. This is for just in general. And my other comment is, at the end of the 4th bar, please take breath after the quarter note, because here, if we would sing the lyric, this is one word together, just 2 syllables. So please, after the second D, take the breath. Yes, thank you very much. Could you play once more and we can move on? Great, very good. Just a small comment for the first variation. Here you have piano, so you should be a tiny bit softer than the theme. So what you can do, play a little bit louder the theme, and you will achieve immediately the piano for the first variation. Okay, one more advice between the theme and the variations. Try to think about how much time do you wait between these sections. If you wait all the time the same period, might be the whole phrase of the whole piece would be collapse easily. So especially after a short variation like this in the first variation, I would wait just a very short time. And also very important that with your inhale, with your breathing, you should suggest the following character. So for example, before this variation number 2, I wouldn't play like this, like, because with this breathing, it's not synchrone with the character what you are going to play. But if you take the breath like, it makes more sense. Okay, can we play again once more, please, the first variation, and play the second and the third as well? Great, very good. I prefer now the third variation now this time because you played now bigger climax point than the first time. One more or two more advice for the second variations. First of all, the rhythm is not really proper when you play the second and the third bar, because we should hear this. And I've heard. Take care of this, please. And the goal in this variation is to achieve very crispy staccati. So I would recommend you to, when you would like to practice staccato, it based on air support, right? not really on the tongue, more on the diaphragm and the support. So, for example, let's say at the fourth bar, if you play first legato, then tenuto, and then as written. Can we try it? So could you play the bar only legato, and then play tenuto instead of the staccato, and the third time as written? Yes, could you lead your air support to the next emphasis, to the next downbeat, please, to the A? Yes, great. Now with tenuto. Yes, and now staccato. Great, much better. I think it's now a bit crispier. What's the difficulty in this passage? That you have a diminuendo, but it's still possible that under a diminuendo you expand your diaphragm. Okay, what's your opinion? Was it better? Was it more comfortable for you? Great, perfect. Thank you. Okay, so just a small advice for the third variation. I think it's better if you think in due battute, so 2 bars together, at least, and try to imagine like a kind of storm. It's very typical, especially, you know, in romantic music, and probably this effect was brought from that style. I think if you try to do it a bit softer and to achieve this misterioso, would be better for this. Try to find your limits in this case. Can we play this and let's go on afterward? Great, I really like the beginning. It was very sensitive, the beginning of this variation. May I ask that under these 6, 8 notes, how do you group these notes? Do you have any grouping system in your mind when you play it?
Yes, I think for each bar is a group, but 2 bars is also a group.
Okay, great. I mean, when you practice it, I prefer when I build up a movement or a section from note by note, or from like cells, you know, like the human body built up by cells. So it's very important that although we have a due battute, meanwhile we have to have a kind of grouping, like 2 8 notes plus 2 8 notes plus 2, as a kind of subdivision. Like, of course, you don't have to emphasize each beat, but it's really helpful for our mind to create these little groups, because it will be a much more fluent passage as a result. Okay, just think about it and try to create your groups for that. Great. Let's move on to the variation number 4. Great, very nice. Just 2 advices. Take care, because sometimes, in general, we afraid of these octave steps and also from the staccato. And unfortunately, we are getting to play it faster than how we should play. So save your rhythm and be very steady with the eight notes. And when you have the double slurs, I recommend you to play a shorter second note. So otherwise it's not so colorful. It's much more colorful if the second one is a little bit shorter. Could you try just please these 2 bars? Great, and exaggerate the crescendo as much as you can. Very good. You can hear that much more overtones appear in your sound. Your playing is getting much more colorful. Could you play, please, once more this variation, and please really exaggerate, especially this crescendo, okay? You don't have to force the forte. Just play a bit softer mezzo piano and do a huge crescendo and then a huge diminuendo as well, please. That's the only what you have to focus here, okay? Bravo. Much better. Much better. I enjoyed much more now. I don't know. Did you enjoy? Yes. Perfect. Okay. Let's move to this beautiful fifth variation. Very nice. Thank you. Okay, let's speak first about the ornaments. So in my mind, this is very typical folkloristic ornaments. So this is just a kind of improvisation what the folk musician did. So you should go through really fast and really very softly. But meanwhile, it's still very important what we talked about before, how to group this. This is just a guideline for you when you play it on a stage. And when we have this stage fever, to be really steady, these kind of guidelines help our mind to give a strategy, and it's really helpful for the mind to work on it instead of to fear of the stage. Okay, so for example, when you have this 16 tuplet, let's say, it's very easy. I would divide it like 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4, like. That's what I work on in my mind, but when I play, it's not a big deal. This is just an improvisation. I just go through my instrument, okay? And let's check the cadenza, please. Here also, I think if you do 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4, and then 2, 3 groups, and then 2, like. And the last 2 notes as an upbeat for the next. Could you try this one, please? Yes, great. And on the last bar, you can play a little bit more. Also with the support, you should support your air much more. It helps also in your tuning because a little bit the D can be sharp. Can we try the other ornament, please? The 4/4 bar. Mm-hmm. And, great. So it's not a big deal, okay? As fast as you can with grouping. Okay, could you play once more, please, this variation? And what I really liked in your previous playing, when you started to exaggerate the characters, maybe it's because of the microphone, but let's try this and let's try to find your limit. So mezzo forte could be really much more opened. Okay? Great, much better. Let's move on. And just before you play, let me give you an advice for the beginning. As you see, there's poco a poco accelerando e diminuendo. So you can exaggerate the tempo in the beginning. You can start it slower, like okay, so it gives you a very nice, this 4-bar in the beginning is a kind of upbeat for the whole variation. Okay. Great, very good, much better. But I think the beginning you can play even better if you exaggerate more. So I play in opera, so usually I try to direct a piece on a stage. I imagine characters, different persons, personalities on the stage. So this is how it started, absolutely a masculine character. So a new role, a new player appear on the stage and he's shouting for the audience that here I am. Kind of this attitude you need. So really be more exaggerated and even much more slower in the beginning. Can we try just these 4 bars, please? Sorry, I know you have a beautiful sound, but it's still too metrical. It's absolutely improvisation, cadenza. Okay? Okay, it's getting better, getting better. Try to practice a little bit, record yourself, try Close your eyes and imagine yourself on a stage, okay, like a singer. Great. For the rest of the variation, what I hear in the sound, probably because of the microphone, but a little bit that I hear that you lose the control of your embouchure at the end. So definitely I would just focus on the corners, on the side muscles, and don't bite, just try to focus inside these muscles. And the vertical muscles should be downwards. Okay, this is a very simplified version what we used to do. And of course, in certain situations, you need different muscle textures. But these side muscles are very important at the end. Could you play, please, just from the, like the last 8 bars, please, and in a slower tempo, and just focus on, please, these muscles. Okay, don't just firmly keep your mouthpiece. Okay, I think your sound was much more under control now. So bravo, it was very nice. For the 16 notes, to play very evenly and smoothly, there are tons of possible ways to achieve this. First of all, you can change the articulation as for practice, like double slurs, like, or syncopated double slurs, like, for example, or you just build up the certain groups note by note, like, okay. With metronome, you can practice this. I will give this kind of exercises to Professor Donazar, and he will share it with you if you are interested in. Okay, thank you. Now let's just play in tempo the last 8 bars. And let's go on. Great, very nice. I really loved the rest, the separation before the parlando. It was beautiful timing, beautiful. Could you play once more from the parlando and just before the vivace, change immediately the character, the role in your head? A total different thing comes up. And what we talked about breathing, the character of breathing, the way how you breathe, it's very important. So very sudden and very powerful breathing. Can we try from parlando for the last time, please? Bravo, great. Very good. It was much better. Unfortunately, I'm afraid of that we have to move on, and I apologize for this beginning, but thank you very much. It was a very nice job, and I hope you enjoyed to work on this piece. So thank you very much.
Csaba,
Yeah.
excuse me. can you hear us properly? When I know I was playing clarinet, is the sound okay? May we try a different microphone, or is it okay?
If we have time, I think it would be nice to try another one. It's a little bit noisy, but
Okay.
it's up to you.
Okay, let's try. Just give me 1 minute, and I will try.
Sure.
Just to check it,
Thank you.
if it improves there.
Annyi apró kérésem lehet, hogy amikor yeah, it's even worse now. I mean, we don't hear anything, just a noise. Okay, thank you. Can you hear us? Yes. Perfect. Hola, Iker. How are you? Great. Which piece would you like to start with? You have the Monodia by István Lange and the Peregi Verbum, right? Verbum. Okay. Yeah, the volume is very soft here now, so could you adjust the microphone a little bit, please? A bit closer to you. Yeah, could you play a little bit, a couple of notes? Yeah, and could you stand closer to the stand? Perfect. Thank you, great. Great. Very good, Iker. Very good. Okay. Again, let me speak briefly about the composer and his role in the Hungarian classical music scene. So Leo Weiner was a very famous composer also in Hungary, but more famous about his chamber music pedagogy. He was one of the first founder of our chamber music department here in the Liszt Academy. And he influenced a lot of very, very good Hungarian chamber music groups, string quartets, and even string soloists. Although he never played on string instrument, he had very, very good ideas about string playing. As you can see here on the top of the score, there's a dedication, there's a name. His name is Ferenc Jancsin, who was a violinist. He was the concertmaster of the Hungarian State Opera Orchestra. So definitely the original version of this piece is a violin version. We can find arrangement for viola and also for clarinet. Most szeretném egy pillanatra megmutatni As you can see on the slide, there's differences between the violin and the clarinet section. That means to me that it's very good because I can be creative. I can do whatever I want. I can just take from the violin version and arrange it to the clarinet. So what I would like to mention with this, that be creative, be free to even change the articulation in the cadenza or just put the exact bars and notes from the violin part if you want. I think it's possible because the original version was violin. This is in general about the piece, which is important. In the name you can find the word verbunk. And also as a tempo mark you find tempo di csárdas. These are two different dances. Verbunk is a male, which called in English recruiting dance. So that was the way how they tried to invite young people, young adults to join to the army, to be a soldier in the 18th, 19th century. And Csárdas is a couple dance, and a little bit it's faster. Now I don't want to force this, but the tempo, what we should achieve finally is something like this. And which is more important in this case, when we speak about dances, these are the emphases, the downbeats, and the very, very stable rhythmical structure of the music what we play, because people should dance on this music. So what we have to achieve in the beginning to fuse together this rhythmical structure with a beautiful cantabile playing. So something like this. So I really liked how beautifully and very musical way you play this, but also at the end, if we play less ritardando, might be it's more, might be it's a little bit better for the dancers and for us as well. Okay, can we start from the beginning, please? Could you play only this section first? And what I would like to recommend for the upbeat, don't slow it down. Do the opposite. Go almost accelerate to the first beat. So because try to imagine, if you slow it back, the orchestra or the piano won't be able to find your downbeat. You have to show this a little bit. Okay? Please. Great. Okay, do you have tenuto on the B natural? Okay, I have a different score, and what I have in my ear, what I used to, it's very crispy staccato. This is also part of this dance when they clinging their heels, the dancers. So it should be crispy and short, but very good. In general, it was much better now. Could you play now seconda volta, and could you emphasize more the forte? We should really arrive to this climax point. Do you have forte in the bar number 6? Yes. Yeah. So show it a bit more. Just second time this theme. But you can play from beginning if you prefer. Yes, move on. Very good. Great, very nice. So as you can see, he repeat everything. So when we have a repeating, we should think about that. What should we do different second time, right? Because if we just repeat ourselves, could be very bored. So for instance, for this part, on the third bar of this section, second time, what do you think if you play a subito piano? Let me show you this. Just second time. Okay, could you play now twice? First, as you used to play in mezzo piano, mezzo forte. Second time, do this subito piano, please. Great, much better, Iker, much better. Okay, for the next part, I have question to you. So when you play the triplets, like, you play with the normal fingering, right?
I try to do like...
Yeah, with the trill fingers, right?
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, that would be better, I think. So for the trills, I would use the trilling, and the other cases, I would use the normal fingering. So, and also for the A sharp, I would use this on the left hand, right? Can we try this? Just the beginning of this part. Great. Iker, much better, much better. Okay. So if you fix these points, it will be much more virtuoso and much more fluid. Great. I will send my version to your professor. I have different articulation in a couple of places, but what I would like to recommend you when you play, don't play long the A sharp. It's short and crispy. So, okay, and let me check. Can you find this bar like? There's a G sharp. Okay, probably that was just a mistake, the G natural. Okay, great. For the high E, I have another solution also. Have you tried that you don't lift really your index finger, just you bend on the ring a little bit. Can you see this? So I don't move like this. I just slide it down on the ring. It's a bit softer. Could you play just? Yeah, I try to follow your fingers. I like the result. I liked it. So the thing is, just to bend a little bit, and it won't pop up the high E. Okay. Okay. Let's move on because you have another piece as well. So the difficulty part is that you should keep this tempo also here when you have these ornaments all the time. And I think I would like to show you two spots only. I think when you play a subito piano, it's very strong dramatic meaning all the time in the music. And it's really great if you really emphasize it. And I would like to show you a small exercise to how to improve it, okay? So probably you can find this part like, you have this part, right, in front of you. So when I practice subito piano, I practice before this moment, couple of notes, and after this moment. So these two sections I have to stitch together, okay? So very slowly I practice. And very important that if you separate between the forte and the subito piano, you have time to do it. And acoustically, it helps you also because if you shout, if you play a huge forte, it's still reverbing in the room. And if you immediately start your subito piano, the first couple of notes, we cannot hear you. Okay, could you play just these two things like? Much better. Could you exaggerate? When you play slowly, exaggerate everything as much as you can. Really shout for the fortissimo and subito pianissimo. Yes, great. And when you feel confident with this, you can add more groups before and after it. Okay? At home when you practice. Great. Let's move to the cadenza. And I would like to show you the beginning. I would like to talk about the beginning. So when you have this, the way you played, it sounds logical. But again, we have to step back to the original version, to the violin part. First of all, how the composer grouped the notes is the opposite. And also it's because of the players here change the string. They need time for that. And also the emphasis on the low E. So I would put small caesurs before the low E. So it sounds like this. Okay. I think you can do this pretty well. You don't have to play it again. And let me just ask you to play this last chromatic of the cadence, like. So in this small phrase, you have to shout and then you have to whisper. And also on your F sharp, you have a tenuto. You have to sustain it. If you would be here, a violin player probably would play a huge vibrato. Okay, so all of the air you should concentrate here. And one more suggestion also in general. For me, diminuendo means forte. So the first note of the diminuendo, mostly the most emphasized note in the music. Okay, can we give a try for it, please? Let's move on. Very nice. And shout again. Great. Thank you very much, Iker. Let's move on the other piece, if you agree. Okay. Okay, so about this piece, very briefly, that this piece was composed to a ballet company, which exists in the southern of Hungary in a city called Pécs. The company name is Ballet Pécs, and their leader was and founder was Imre Ek, who has the dedication in the beginning of the piece. So this music has a choreography, which might help you to find characters. Okay? Please, let's start. Very nice, Iker, very good. Great. We have a short amount of time, so I will just pick up a couple of bars, what we should check. The beginning was beautiful, very nice. In general, I think the sextuplet, triplet, quintuplet a little bit should go forward. It was a little bit slowing down. And what I would like to ask you, just play the last 1.5 bar from this part before the a tempo and try to exaggerate the D flat, E flat, and C natural here, because these are the new notes compared to the previous bars where we had only C sharp and D natural. Something like this. So especially E flat and C natural should be a little bit more emphasized. Could you play just this short section, please? Much better, much better. That makes more sense to this phrase. To the next page, on the top of the next page, you have a G flat, high G flat, and yes, and G natural. Could you try this fingering for the G flat? So the top of the trills. Kérhetem a vetítést egy pillanatra. You can find the fingering here on the slide. And after the B flat should be with the left 4 key. After the second G flat. Sorry?
I play all the bar.
Uh,
Those 2 notes.
yes, because second time you step after a B flat. Could you play these 2 bars? Yes. How does it feel to you? Is it easier? Okay, great, fine, very good. For the next part, for the allegro agitato, agitato is very important in this case. So try to go on, don't slow down. Of course, if you practice more and more with metronome, it gives you a great help in this section. And we need very crispy staccati here. Okay, and a little bit, I would like to ask you to play also very short staccati in the allegretto giocoso. That gives this giocoso character for this section. If you play very crispy staccati on the 3rd page, top of the 3rd page. We jumped quite big. Could you play just the beginning of this giocoso part, please? Yes.
One thing. In the allegro agitato,
Yes.
what tempo do you play?
Sorry, I cannot hear you properly. Could you go close or speak closer to the mic?
To play with the metronome, the allegro agitato, what tempo do you recommend?
I think it depends on the 30 seconds. All the time when you have this kind of music, try to find the quickest notes or quickest rhythm and adjust your tempo to that, okay? This tempo was perfectly fine for me because I could understand all of the notes in the 30 seconds. My concern was under the quintuplet, you slowed down a little bit, maybe because of the staccati, maybe because of the tongue. But I think you can have a good tongue so you can keep the tempo. Okay. Can we try the giocoso, please? Yes. And could you very good? And could you play now really secco? So like. Like almost like if you are a percussion player. Okay, so really exaggerate this. And I have only one grace note before the A sharp, only once. Taya, ta, not tayat, taya. Okay, could you play this once more, please? Great, very good, very good. That fits to this kind of articulation fits better to the dance character. This gives you much more color. You can show your articulation toolbox in a really variety of your articulations. It's really nice. Okay, let's jump to the end when you have the repetition ad libitum. And what you have to imagine here, or what I have in my mind when I hear this music, it's very, very similar, the result acoustically, if you listen to the music of György Ligeti. He invented this kind of composition techniques, what's called micropolyphony. This is a different approach, absolutely different. But the result, what we have to listen, this kind of mumbling effect should be the same. So it's like when you are walking and you are talking in your head, like blah, 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 blah. I know it's strange. It's very strange, but we shouldn't understand exactly each of the notes. It's just mumbling. Could you play from here till the end, please? Great. It was much better, Iker. Much better. Unfortunately, we have to finish. Thank you very much, especially that you prepared with 2 pieces. Do you have any questions to the pieces? No? Great. I would like to recommend you to stay with us until the end of the masterclass, where we will going to work about the light shadow trembling piece. They have a similar effects what you achieved here at the end. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to work with you. It was very nice. Hola, hola, ¿cómo estás?
Hola, bien, aquí estamos.
Okay. Okay, Unai, are you going to play the whole sonata, right? Sonatina.
Yes.
Great.
Both movements.
Perfect. Let's divide, okay? Let's first play the first movement, work on a little bit, and then move to the second one, if it's good for you. Please.
Vale. Okay. Vale.
Muy bien, muy bien. Very good. Great, Unai, very good. Let's start my introduction to this piece as well. So I know this piece is quite popular in Spain, right? I mean, I heard from a lot of great Spanish clarinetists this sonatina, which is a funny fact because in Hungary, we don't really play this piece so often, but we should, actually. The reason is that Miklós Rózsa, he left Hungary before the Second World War, and he moved to the United States. He became a very famous movie composer, film composer. If you know the movie Ben-Hur, he composed soundtrack of that movie. So he became very popular, very famous in the film industry in the States. And unfortunately, in Hungary, a lot of people, or most of us, forget him. But that's why I'm very glad to have this workshop here, because we have opportunity to show this beautiful piece for our students and Hungarian clarinetists as well. So as you see, the form of this piece is quite similar to the Kodály homage, what Ainhoa played in the beginning of the workshop. There's a theme, and there are several variations. Do you hear me? You can?
Yes.
Okay, great, perfect.
Yes.
Okay, so it's very similar, and as you see in the beginning, also we can have this kind of folklore music. The difference between the homage and this piece, that this is not a direct, real folk music. This is an imitation. This is a melody in folkloristic style. And let me give you another example to this. Kérhetek most egy vetítést? So if you see on this slide, there's another melody composed by Béla Bartók. And this is an excerpt from the first movement of his composition, Hungarian Pictures, where the clarinet plays this beautiful melody. This exactly the same way composed as here in the Rózsa. This is not a real folk music. This is invented by the composer. In this case, Bartók composed this melody. So this was very common among composers in the early 20th century, or even after the Second World War, when they tried to reflect to the folkloristic style, that they invented melodies which seemed like real folk music. Okay, just a brief introduction how this music composed. Okay, köszönöm szépen a vetítést. And let me express what I've heard. So what I really liked in your playing, that you have a huge energy on the stage. I have a Spanish expression for here, but I don't want to use this in front of ladies. So you have dos, con dos. It's very good, very good. What we have to work on a little bit in the dolce character, and to exaggerate more the piano and the soft dynamics, in my opinion. And I will show you some spots where we have to save this energy, because sometimes it affects the intonation, the tuning. And the beginning, it was very interesting for me, because compared to Iker, I've heard you a little bit flatter. You were a bit flat. I don't know, I don't have a tuner here. I don't know who is 442, and I don't mind, actually. Just, this is a very good example, and I've heard this among my students in the morning as well, that they were very flat in the beginning. And we used to talk about this with the students, that there are a lot of examples in our life, competitions, auditions, where we have to enter the room from a very cold hall or very cold other room, and we have to immediately play. And tuning is always very objective, very important part of our job immediately from the beginning. So I really recommend you that for a long term, it's really good if you have an extremely short barrel. Like if you have a Toscana or a buffet, I think like a 60, 63, 62 could be good for if you go to audition, just to be in tune really in the beginning. Okay, especially for the throat notes, A, G sharp. I also tell this to my students, that it's good, I mean, very important during our studies, that of course musically we have to have a toolbox, right? How exercises, how to achieve certain technical goals, musical goals. We should know some exercises. And also, on the other hand, very important, what setup do we use? And we have to have really tons of kind of barrels in this case, which would help us. It was very good just to think in a long term ahead in an audition situation. Okay, really good. Can we play now from the top until the end of the, or just could you play the second variation, please? Just the second variation.
But the second one?
Yes, più vivo, più vivo. Very good. Very good, Unai. Very good. Two small advice I have to you. First of all, what I hear every second bars is rushing a little bit. So what we talked about this with Ainoa, you need a subdivision. So it's very good that you think in two bars together, but meanwhile you have to subdivide and take care of the second bars because they are rushing. And the other thing is, what I mentioned in the beginning, I really like that you are very powerful. But we have to find the balance that to the audience, to the outside, we should show that we are flaming, we are burning like a fire. But inside, with our mind, we have to be very sober and, bless you, very sober and very cold, okay? So, and we have to really focus. And what I mean when you have these low A natural notes, like don't lose the control. The thing is that you are so into the crescendo that a tiny bit you lose the control of your embouchure. So again, if you a little bit firmly keep the mouthpiece with your side muscles, that already helps you, and you don't have to exaggerate so much the forte, okay? Let's do the same variation, please, once more. And these two things a little bit, please take care. But it was better. The climax point, the forte, was much better. It was under control. That's what I missed in the previous playing. That was much better. How do you feel now? Is it more comfortable to you?
Yes, yes.
Great.
When I get to the part of
Mm-hmm.
no, I was like, as you have said, like, wow, tremendo, o sea, que me descontrolaba un poco. Without control. I played that without control, like, and now, what you have said, no, you have to control all the...
Yes. Yes, I understand you. I think it's how you play now was very good. So actually, when you settle these things in your mind, you don't need actually an instrument. You put down your clarinet, you just check the score, and you give yourself instructions when you have a climax point that, okay, now I have to be very focused and save the energy, save the volume. A lot of great conductors used to tell us that when you play fast and loud in an orchestra, that's the easiest job in the world. But when you have to be very precise in tune, in piano, that's the most difficult. And this is it's a mind game, okay? So when you have piano, your focus should increase, your stamina, your support should be much more active. And when you have forte, it's the easy job. Okay, I know you have very big intervals here, so still you have to focus a little bit. I mean, still here you have to focus, but don't press it. Okay, did it make sense?
Yes, yes.
Cool, great. Let's move on to the next variation, please. And let me give you two advices. First of all, I really liked how you played. But as you see, it's a pretty long variation. And almost he repeats the same thing. So again, second time, when we have the forte espressivo, we should do something differently. What I mean, what you can do differently, how you phrasing. So the first time when you start the variation, the rest should separate. Let me show you. So these sections clearly separated. But second time, when you play the forte, try to use the rest to have a longer phrase. So it's not separation, it's go on and stitch together these bars more, like and maybe only at the end you separate again. Can we try this? Great. Can we start once more? Very good, Dunay. What you have to take care, the low F sharp is very flat. It's most of the clarinets, these a little bit flat. So when you have this, just play a mezzo forte and you should lie. You should show it like a forte, but honestly you should play less. So the F sharp shouldn't be so flat, won't be so flat, okay? Let's give another try for it. Better. But better.
I continue.
Yes, yes, please. It's getting better, getting better. Now I think the first part you can separate even more. But clearly I could hear the difference between the two sections. What was your experience? Walking.
That now, like the music works
Yes,
more.
great. That's what we wanted. Very good. Okay, let me check the time. Okay, great, great. We have time. Just quickly, I have to advise to the variation number 4 that when you had this pianissimo, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 bars before variation 5, I heard or I could see that you started to bite a little bit. You started to use muscles more. And also what Mikael said in the morning session, I agree with him. So try to focus on your support and it will help you. If you have a steady airstream, you won't be able to bite. But if your airstream support is very low, additional muscles are getting to be tense, like throat, you're starting to bite with your embouchure. So that's why very important to try to focus on your diaphragm and to use it actively. I'm sure that Mikael did plenty of exercises about this with you try to remember this when you play this. Okay, I have a very small idea to you, but I'm pretty sure that Mikael also used this. You know this technique, right? When you inhale like this. You know? That's what I meant, okay, by Yehuda Gilad. Okay, so really open your throat when you inhale. That immediately helps really a lot. Okay, can we try it? Like you have a mezzo piano, right, at the top of the page. Can we start from that? No problem, no problem. Okay, what I see here, that you're afraid of these bars. Because what happens in your mind, you are talking yourself, this is very fast, I have to move my fingers very fast. There are a lot of information, I'm afraid, I will close my eyes and happens what happens, I don't care. That's why you need a strategy. That's why you need a strategy to sustain your focus, even when you have a difficult part here. Let me give you an example. Let's say, for instance, that the second bar, might be more difficult than the first bar to you. So what I'm going to do, that I will start the first bar in tempo, and the second bar I will play half tempo directly, and the third bar I play again in tempo. It's like when you use the slow motion for the second bar, only for the second bar, and then you return to the original tempo. Does it make sense to you? Do you understand it? So let me show you. Let me give an example to you. Okay, so it's Unai, it's the same when you use your phone and you zoom in to a detail on the picture. Now you zoom into the second bar, okay? Let's give a try for it. Yes, now what I've heard, that it was very nice how you played it, but the second bar was rushing. Really, really pull back. Mm-hmm. And now could you play the three bars together in tempo? Okay, what did you feel?
Because in this part, I have like a lot of marks to support some notes to do it like better for me, easier.
Sorry, I cannot hear. Could you tell to the microphone a bit?
Yes. In this part, I have written a lot of marks in some notes to support these notes,
Mm-hmm.
to play it like easier for me, to do it easier for me.
Yes.
And I have like, as you have said, like a lot of information, and I'm like, well, the lap, also the do, and
Okay.
I don't know, but
I understand. Yeah, I understand. So you have to reduce this information to your mind. So I give you a short example. What I used to ask from my students when they play an orchestra excerpt, that they should write maximum 3 instructions for themselves ahead of the score, about character, about important parts, because definitely you have to reduce this information. And this is a very interesting thing, because when you gave these instructions for yourself, you were in the early stage of the practicing of this piece, right? So time after time, you have to reduce this, and you have to try to fuse this information together. So try to now, because you are very precise, you give information about the support, as I understand, to take care of this note, take care of this, that one, right? Something like this can happen in your score. Now try to give you advice yourself to like not emotion, but kind of gestures. Just try to summarize this information to your mind as a gesture, like a sigh is a gesture. Maybe that helps you to your air support. If I understand correctly what you explained to me. Okay, maybe this is this can help you, and you can use this slow motion technique also freely. Okay, be creative with these exercises. So if you feel that maybe one bar is not enough for me, maybe I need 2 bars in half tempo, do it 2 bars half tempo and the rest in tempo. It's up to you. You know your body, you know your muscles, what you need. Okay, if you're interested in, I can send this exercise to Professor Donazar, and he can share it with you. Okay. Okay, great, perfect. Let me check the time. Okay, let's move to the second movement. Okay. Very good. Very good. Very virtuoso playing. Really nice. Great. So just a couple of spots what I would like to work on or speak about. At the end of this first page, you have a dolce, right? So before the dolce, you have 2 8 notes in staccato. From your performance, I've heard that you want to play this as an upbeat to the first bar. In my opinion, it's separately. So the 2 8 notes is part of the previous phrase. So you know what I mean? So I would put a little separation after these 2 staccato and start a new phrase, a new dolce. Maybe it makes more sense. To speak about again tuning, what I recommend you on the page number 9, you have this high F sharp. You can see that all of these 4 registers has been shown. So I think when you practice this part, first try to tune these 4 notes, the octaves, and then add the rest of the notes to it. So it gives you a really stable structure in tuning. What I used to do when I tune this, for example, when I play octave, first of all, the altissimo register is a bit tricky because if you are absolutely on the spot in the green area, it might be sounds flat. So first maybe I would try in the middle F sharp, check with the tuner, and turn away from the tuner and play the high F sharp. So and try to hear, try to listen the octave. And when you think it's okay, it's in tune, then turn back and check it with your tuner. Okay, and do the same with the other 2 registers. Might be it can help you. You know perfectly that if maybe you have a stronger reed, it can help also in the tuning, or you can work on it better. There are a lot of details, but try this a little bit. These 4 F sharps should be in tune. It's very important. Could you show me what fingering do you use after the F sharp? For you have an A natural, right? Could you turn here to the camera? Okay, what if for the A, on the other hand, you use the C instead of the D sharp? The same fingering. Is it more stable? How does it sound to you? I don't hear so much because you are away from the microphone. I think this is more stable. What do you think? Yes. Okay, keep it, if you want, if you would like. Great, very good. On the same page, you have an open G. Almost the one before the last line. I think for open G, G sharp, you can put down the right hand more frequently. Right hand, just to put down. Yes, exactly. Or even the F key, E. for G sharp, G and G sharp. Okay, again, because of the tuning. And let me give you another exercise or a tip if you are not fed up yet with these ideas. On the page number 10, you have this. You see, you have these. Yes. So I think you played very nice, but even it could be better or crispier if you build up this passage backward. This is the idea what Rainer Wehle used in his Clarinet Fundamentals book, number 1, volume 1. Originally, this is an exercise to control tongues and fingers together, but I think in this case, under legato, also very, very useful. So what I would do this in this part, like, so could you build up? Yes, exactly like this. Very good, very good. Of course, if you practice this with metronome, it gives you a stability, and also that focus on to how to release your fingers from the instrument. Most of the times we are thinking how to put down the fingers, but this time, how do you release? How do you lift your fingers? Okay, this is a very small detail, but from these small things, you can create a much better performance at the end, in my opinion. What you played, it was amazing. These small details can spice it up your performance. Do you have any questions? Okay. Thank you very much. I really enjoyed. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hola. Hola, ¿qué tal? Muy bien. Okay. Irene, you are going to play the sonatina, right? Perfect. Very good. Let's go through the whole piece first. Okay, if you are ready. Brava, brava. Very nice. Very good. I really like the energy at the last movement. Very nice. And let's keep this energy, okay? So what I mean, on the first movement, we can have this attitude a little bit changed way, but what I would like to ask you in the first movement, that the tempo is a bit faster, or a bit faster tempo would fit to this character more. And also if you exaggerate more the staccati. So if you like to think or imagine things or characters, I can recommend here as well. So maybe it's a funny clown, or a very jocoso, but in a little grotesque way, we can have a character here. And let me share with you a saying what I've heard from an opera composer, who said that for us the dynamic and the articulation is the same as for the opera singers the makeup. Have you seen an opera singer's makeup closely? It's horrible. They look horrible. It's really exaggerated everything. But when you look them for a distance, like 10 meters far or 15 meters far, it seems beautiful. That's normal for us. This is the same with us with dynamic and with the articulation. We have to really exaggerate. And even your spot on the stage, maybe it's too much, you feel it's too much, but definitely for 5-10 meters far from you, that gives you a character, okay? So that's what I would like to emphasize here, especially articulations. Definitely you can play a bit more in dynamic, but now articulation and tempo. So something like this. Okay? Great, Irene, it was much beautiful. It was much better, and the phrasing was much easier for you, I guess. Great, perfect. Can we play from just the 5/8, so 2 bars before più mosso? And what I would like to ask you that in this bar, the 5/8 and 7/8, please don't give any accent. It should be very fluent, very flowing music, okay? Very horizontal music. And that's how we start the più mosso as well, okay? So 2 bars before più mosso, please. Great, Irene. It was much better. It was much better. I could understand all of the characters, what you played. Let me give you 2 small advice. I really liked your trill and your forte, like here. My only concern was that you didn't sustain the forte and the trill. And because of this is a very relatively low register, the sound disappeared. So, I've heard like this. So, and we should sustain. So, Okay? Really open up and shout. This is the first. And the second one, the tempo change. So the ritardando is very important. Try to exaggerate. And the subito tempo, the next tempo, should be really subito. So, for instance, so the upbeat, the grace note, the appoggiatura should be really in tempo. Okay? Can we start from the più mosso, please? Very nice, very nice. I really liked now how you played the last tempo primo, because now you moved on and you didn't make the ritardando too early. That's what I really wanted to hear. I really liked it. Very nice in general, the whole movement. Let me give you an advice to the trill when you play the F natural and G natural. The fingering is perfect. Sometimes I prefer when I play, I start the trill slowly with the normal fingering and then change to the trill. So, for example, Rhapsody in Blue, the second glissando or scale. The same situation. And yes, and the second trill here, when you play this is the same what we talked about it with Unai, that when you reached it, just sustain. You don't have to force it too much, because you will lose your embouchure and the sound will be changed, the character of the sound, and also the tuning will be a bit flatter. So when you reach the trill, just keep it. It will be very loud, don't worry. Okay? Can we try these two trills, please? Let's say a couple bars before it, where it's comfortable for you. Up to you. Don't worry, let's give another try. Okay. I will give you other fingerings also for the high D and the D sharp to the next movement. Okay. I really liked your solution, but I have another trick. But let's save it to the next movement. Okay. So just before we start the second movement, it's also important to see, or as you can see, this is a rubato, which definitely gives us an instruction. Okay, so this is some kind of folk motif or imitation of folk music, and that's true. And to speak briefly about Csaba Deák is also important to tell what we talked about Miklós Rózsa, that he immigrated also to Sweden. And he is actually now a very popular Swedish composer, and unfortunately not a really well-known composer here in Hungary. But definitely this movement was inspired by Hungarian roots, Hungarian folk music. By the way, he learned composition here in the Liszt Academy when he was young. So what we talked about this before with the other people, other students, that when you have this music, definitely this kind of sadness, this duello, luto character you should try to achieve. And also when you have these sextuplets, you can change the color and you can play even softer and try again to mumbling at the end. Okay, so it shouldn't be direct notes. Great, thank you. Okay, could you tell me, when you have the tempo primo in this 3 bars long phrase, where would be the climax point, in your opinion? Could you tell it to the microphone, please, because...
The F sharp.
Sorry? F sharp, exactly.
The F sharp,
F sharp, exactly. So could you emphasize more, make a bigger crescendo to arrive to the F sharp? And could you do exactly the same at the first phrase? Not so intense, but show that the A is a downbeat, okay? And you know rubato, what does it mean? Rubare is to stealing the time. You can play much more with the time. You can play much more with the silence. It's very important. What I mean, the rest could be bigger. Okay? And one suggestion, not for this part, but whenever you have a very soft place and you have rest and you need to inhale, try to inhale through your nose. Okay, because with that you can keep your embouchure. Okay, let's give another try from the beginning. Very good, very good. Okay, Irene, can we try the second phrase? And please don't take breath before the A flat. Could you play the whole phrase under one inhale until here, and then inhale through your nose? Let's give a try. Let's see what happens. Okay, great. How did you feel? What's the opinion of your friends, colleagues in the room? Perfect. That's what I wanted to hear. Thank you. Okay, let's move on, and just let me give you an advice. So what you played here, we can imagine like someone staring at the window and tell his pain for himself. It's a very introvert, very inner sound. But now he's starting to shout. He's starting to be more extrovert. He wants to share his pain with everyone. Try to put this into your character, please. And again, before the climax, before the fermata, please don't take breath just after the sextuplet. Great. Great, Irene, much better, very beautiful. What I would like to tell you is, or suggest you, don't respect the score so much, okay? I know it sounds weird, but of course the composer had to write down somehow this rhythm. But the root of this music is much more, how can I say, intuitive, much more emotional. So if you play everything very precisely, it's great, but it's a bit against of the music. So forget the bar lines, try to think in bigger phrases, and try to look ahead to your climax point. You can do, I give you a little example, okay, what I mean. This is a very exaggerated, but it's also possible. Okay, so, and definitely it's very important that before this long phrase, you have time. You can take a comfortable big breath. You need oxygen for this part because they're very tricky notes. You have to be really focused. So if you have a strategy, how you manage your breathing, your air support, it also can help you. Okay, your turn. Great, very good. Even here at the climax point, you can turn mad, okay? You don't have to be very polite, so. Okay, so especially you can give more expression, more declamation to the last 16 notes, for example. But let me give you the trick for the next notes. Please don't share with anyone, okay? Okay, perfect. So could you try this fingering? So down here, I open here the register key. Here, this is filled. On the lower joint, this, and I give this. This is for the D, and for the D, C sharp, you only change this. Could you try? Yes, it's when you go down to the B natural, of course your thumb finger should be very flexible. If you play frequently on bass clarinet, that definitely helps you. Could you try this once more? Great, beautiful. Thank you. I know maybe it's not so comfortable in the beginning because we are not so familiar with this position on clarinet, but I really recommend you because in soft dynamic it can help you a lot. Okay, thank you very much for your score. I received it about the third movement, how you structurized or grouped the notes. I think it's really nice. You put a lot of effort and work in it. I really like this. Let me share with you my opinion, if you don't mind, and you will see that maybe you take it or not. Most kérhetnék egy... So, just briefly, let me tell you how did I went through on this. First of all, when I learn a new piece or a new movement, and when I go through, my first goal is to realize the structure, the form of the movement. Is there any recapitulation or not? Is it a sonata form or something more complex, or a rondo, something like this? This is my first goal. Because in my opinion, if you know the structure, you will be able to share this with the audience. And definitely the audience need these guidelines to able to realize that, okay, this is, I've heard this topic, this theme earlier, or this melody. And so when I try to find where is my first beat, my eyes jumped to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th line of the first page of this movement. And you can see that an A is on the downbeat. So definitely the first 4 16ths are upbeat to this. That helps me in the beginning how to start my counting. The other guide for myself, when I do this, I try to conduct myself. I imagine myself as a conductor and imagine what would help to the orchestra, or if I would sit in the orchestra, which kind of conducting or grouping would help me. Therefore, I try to avoid the 1/4 bars because it's not so good. And in this first version, I prefer to. I wrote a mistake. These are the longer bars, so I try to avoid also the 3/8 separately. So I try to attach this ta-da-da-da form to previous groups, and I use the same signs as you did in your score very well. So this is just my guide, or if you want, please go through it. How you played it was very nice. So the most important thing that you have to have your own guide how to go through it. everyone's mind is a bit different. Maybe other grouping fits to your thinking or musical playing better. But also, when you do this, try to follow that. Mostly the sforzando should be on downbeat. Okay, this is just my example, and here you can see another version where you can see 3/8 as well. I will share with you and after the masterclass, definitely. Okay, let's play, köszönöm szépen. Let's play once more the third movement. I really like your energy, your characters. Let's repeat this once more. Great, thank you, Irene. Very nice. When you learn this piece, I recommend you to listen orchestra pieces composed by Béla Bartók. What I definitely hear here that Bartók had such influence on Deák that he tried to show the same characters, so the values are the same. The characters are the same as in Bartók's, like the Hungarian pictures, what I mentioned earlier, or even in the concerto for orchestra, you can hear here as well. And definitely very important, the tenuto. These are always emphasized and almost as important as the marcato. So, for example, when you play, I wouldn't play diminuendo. I think a subito pianissimo is much more interesting here. And also, you need a pezzanta, very, how can I say, very rural, very ancient character. So don't play sophisticated. Even I can imagine even if your sound is a little bit not so well balanced or not so really nice, it's not problem. This is a kind of finale. This is a finale of a very short piece, but you have to be really jump on it and play with a lot of energy and very clear articulation. Okay. Great, thank you. Sorry to stop you again. What I hear that after the first note, ta da 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 pi, the E is coming too early. Ta da 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 ti ti ta ta. If a tiny bit you separate, that gives exactly the rhythmical place of the E. So ta da 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 ti 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 ti. That's why I think here, yes, 4/4 in a different way than you. But ta pa 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 pa. Also, if you separate a little bit much, that gives a kind of accent to the note, and that's what we need here. The other thing, what you have to take care, on the fourth line, you have a D flat, a dotted D flat, quarter and a quarter. The quarter coming too early. Ta pa 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 pa, not ta ta ti ta pa pa pi pi. Okay. Let's do last time, really. Great, very good, Irene. Much better. So here at the end, we have relatively short time to change the character. When you play music, when it's getting fragmented, definitely you have to go ahead. If you slow down, it will be very collapsed. Now it was very good. Just this is a general idea to you. But definitely the meno mosso and tranquillo should be much more exaggerated. Okay, so play really slower and really softer. Okay, can we try from this repeating da 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 ti ti when you play second time this? Yes, I really like your meno mosso, but it was a bit early. And what I would like to ask you, the tayayappa, the last note of the slurred group should be short. Tayayatta. That gives you a very good character if you can do it. And okay, let's do last time. And what I would like to ask you, and I know we talked about this, that try to lift your chest, so this sternum, this bone, and your chin, and like pam. So when you play for this audience, try to look beyond them, beyond their head, and play a spot which is in your eye line or a little bit higher. Okay, that gives you this character, that helps you to achieve this character what we need here. Can we try it? Great. Thank you very much, Irene. Just a small comment to this middle section. Could you exaggerate more the ritardando and show a bit more the a tempo? So. Great, very good, very good. Let's give another try just from the last tempo primo or 2 bars before the tempo primo. And what do you think if we make subito piano from the last 2 lines, like? So we could have a bigger crescendo. Two bars before the tempo primo. Great, very nice. Brava. Thank you very much. Thank you, it was very good. Do you have any questions? No? Okay. Thank you. Buenas, Javier. How are you? Good? Great. Good to have you here. When you feel ready, please, you can start.
No, es igual, es igual. Estoy bien, estoy bien.
Bravo, Javier. Very good, very good. I really enjoyed it, and I could see that you are really into the piece, and I could see your own ideas, and it was, it made me very happy. Really, really, I really, really liked it. Okay, so as you all of you can see, this is a total different piece than the earlier pieces what we have worked on today, and you can clearly see that the composer knows well the clarinet. The reason is because he is a clarinetist. So Gergely Vajda, or Gregory Vajda, how do they call in the States? He studied clarinet and composing in the meantime here in the Liszt Academy, and now he's the chief conductor of the Huntsville Symphony Orchestra in Alabama, United States. He was a former leader or director of the Hungarian Radio Symphony Orchestra, and he works frequently in Hungary as a conductor. He works a lot with Péter Ötvös, and he's a very well-known conductor, and he was a clarinetist, as you see. One of his early pieces, he composed it more than 2 decades ago, and the inspiration of it was a Hungarian writer, poet, András Petőcs. What you can see his name in the top of the score, and his poems. Okay, we will speak in general about this piece and the key attributes of this piece. But first, I would like to check something in the fingerings, especially when you have this wild character. Because what he wanted to hear, that these, how do you say, these half tones or quarter tones, you should achieve that you put down your right hand. So, for example, when you play, only one finger is enough. So when you do this, this is this fake A. Okay, could you try this, please? This is on the top of the 5th page. Yes. Exactly. Very good. And on the next line, when you have the, there you put down your whole right hand for that. Okay. This is the same everywhere, also on the 6th page. So when you play, so this not usual B natural, which is written, is actually a B flat. Okay. It could help you. Okay, that's what I wanted to fix in the first time. So what I'm going to say now is probably a cliche, and probably all of you know, and maybe it's not so interested in, but in my opinion, when you play pieces, especially from the late 20th century, or from the time from John Cage till nowadays, you can realize that the silence is very important part of the music, especially in this piece. Probably you checked the length of the rests, which is the shortest, which is the longest. And I think it's very important how do you start the piece. And it's also very important that when you start this piece, you have to force the audience to create silence. Otherwise, it destroys the beginning of your music. So I think it's a key point when you go to the stage and you know the audience is talking, coughing, they do whatever they do, and you just stand there and wait a complete silence You just lift your instrument, you inhale through your nose, and you start lifting your fingers. And you can grab their attention right in the beginning, and they can realize, okay, what's happening? I hear something. Where do I get this sound? What happens here? And you definitely can start this when there's a complete silence around you. Okay? And also all the time when you have this silence, these are very important to have patience to wait. And let me tell you something in advance. The length of the rest depends on the acoustic, where do you play it. It means if you have a bigger hole, you have to wait more. When you have a smaller hole, you can reduce this time because it depends on the reverb. Okay, let's give it a try for the beginning. Great, Javier. It was very nice, very nice. I could see that you're focusing a lot. Only one suggestion: at the end of the second line, when you have just a small mark, maybe there you can wait a little bit less. But it's up to you. For me, if I don't see the score, it was very nice still. This is just a small thing. The other thing, when you do the crescendo, you can play less groups to achieve earlier the high, to achieve the C, is only because to managing your air. Because if you arrive late to the C, you don't have time to stretch this note, and you will have to finish quite quickly. That's what you have to bear in your mind. But it was very nice. Shall we move on? Sorry, can we go on? It was very nice.
Go on. Okay.
Okay, great. Let me ask you a question regarding to this staccatissimo place. What do you think, what's important in this group? To change the velocity, the speed of your notes? Or to play a total different character than earlier? Okay, what I mean, I think you can play this a bit faster. Okay, because as you can see, he notes, the notating is like grace notes. So all the time when you have this notation in the score, a little bit you can play faster. So Great, very good. When you play in particularly this part, I would emphasize in my mind those notes which are changing. So it would be much more clear to hear it. Great. Could you do this in tempo also, please? Yes, much better, but you can hear that the G flat is a little bit short. Try to play a little bit longer. Better? It's better. Yes, let's jump to the next page. Great, very good. Javier, when you finish this place, like that's what I hear. You want to play like a beautiful melody. This is just an ornament. This is just an effect. So just when you're playing on the clarinet, it's the same. Great. Javier, let me give you some comments. So when you play the staccato, like now I think your tongue and fingers were not really in control or in synchron. So it definitely helps if you play kind of groups like 3 plus 2 plus 2, ta pa 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 pa, for example. That could help you to control this. And also the next part, when you have these jumps, the low notes or these staccatissimo notes should be a bit shorter. This is just an effect. He shows the specialty of the clarinet, that this is not an octave register. This is an octave plus fifths, which is the specialty of the clarinet. So he plays with the harmonies. So the first note should be a bit shorter, and take care the piano note shouldn't be so high. I know it's not so comfortable, but maybe we can work on this a little bit. And the next group could be much more fluent, like okay, let's try it. Very good, Javier. Very good. Let me give you two advices to this part. So when you have the so the arriving notes are gradually louder and louder. So try to exaggerate this. And the next group is the same as we talked about earlier, a bit more fluent. Okay. Could you just play from here? No, most nem hallok semmit. Sorry, I cannot hear you. Maybe now, yes? Sorry, Javier, we misunderstood each other. The section what you played, you should stay in piano as written, and the next under two lines below, when you play the same, you should do the louder and louder, the gradually crescendo. Can we play from there? Thank you. Javier, it was very good, very good. I really liked it. We will continue from this part, from this point. Just let me speak about from this crazy part when you turn to be mad. This it's again very important what anticipate this part and how do you prepare for this. So if you take a slow breath, it will be very different than the character we want to achieve. So So this is a completely new thing in the piece, a completely new effect. I think maybe it's a bit better if it's more sudden and your breathing is much quicker and much more energetic. And also the breath mark should be a much shorter rest. So this line, these 3 lines, how he has written down, this should be one phrase together, in my opinion. Can we try it? Yes, I think this is too much. I mean, in time, and quickly continue. Okay. Great. Very good, Javier. I really like this. I really liked how you played. It was very, very well played. Here and in general, when you have the same rests and you respect the score and you play really the same rests, it could break down the phrase, or it could be too fragmented. But it's not a problem, it's fragmented. But if it's too symmetrical, I don't really think it's good in music in general. So try to play this part as a kind of improvisation. Okay, when you don't know what happens in the next second. Of course you know the score, but you have to lie to the audience in this case. So it's like, again, if you imagine this on the stage, you have plenty of players, plenty of roles in your piece, and they hide behind the curtains, and some of them shout from the left side, the other one from the right side, someone a total different figure from the back of the stage. Even if you record this, you can play a little bit with the panning of the sound. So try to imagine something like this. Great, very good, very good. Let's go back to the top of the page, to this wild character. And let me show you two options. And please describe me what do you hear as difference in character, in every way, okay? So I will play a short section two different way. This is the first one. That was the first one. I show you the second. Could you describe me if you even hear difference between these two playing, or even if you could see any difference? And I ask also all of the other participants in the masterclass or the workshop, did they hear or feel any difference? If no, this is also an answer. I cannot hear you, Miguel.
We couldn't find any difference because of the, maybe it was too loud, so the micro was collapsing. I don't know.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
First, yes, it could be. So the first time I really played as loud as I can, and I didn't control anything. I just pushed as much as I can. The second time, I tried to show that I play loud, and I played actually a mezzo forte. So what I wanted to show with it, that save your energy here. And it will help you. It will be under control. It's a very sonoristic register of the clarinet. It will be enough. You can really easily achieve the dynamic what you want. You don't have to force it. But you can show it a little bit more on the stage. Okay? Can we try this? Yes, great. So, how do you feel?
Now,
Could you
the fingering can be other now that I was.
could you tell this to the microphone, because unfortunately I cannot hear you.
Nah, nothing. The fingering that was different that I do.
Yes, but at the end you fixed it. At the end you
Yes,
fixed it.
yes.
Yeah, that's good. That's good that you. It's fine. It's. I mean, of course you will start like this from the beginning. That's the best. But you realize that's good. Was it more comfortable for you?
Yes, but study.
Yeah, of course. But it's okay. Let's finish the piece. Thank you. Thank you very much. What do you have in your mind when you play this scherzando character? Do you have any picture or any sound, what you want to achieve or show? Could you tell me?
Something happy, something well done play.
It's good. It's very good. It's very good, Javier. And if you translate this to kind of moving, kind of movement, what do you think? Is it walking? Is it jumping? Is it swimming?
Maybe jumping.
Perfect, perfect. Very good. Yes. So what I imagine here, and probably maybe if the composer would hear it, he would be mad that I have this picture about this. But if you listen to the music of Schumann or for example, Cahuzac, Arlequin, if you know this piece, and also in a lot of Schumann piece, this kind of jumping, this kind of twisting effect, this movement, we can adapt that to this part. So you can imagine Arlequin, which is a happy clown who is jumping here note by note. Even you can imagine the Stockhausen piece, for instance. That means we need shorter notes, and you can play this much freely. You can play a little accelerando, bit bigger ritardando. It's up to you. Just exaggerate this a little bit more. Can we do directly from this first scherzando from the top of the page? Very good. Very good. One more question. At the last line, could you show me how you play the... Which G do you use for that? Uh-huh. Yes, that's very good for the first bar. And for the second bar, what about this one? Yeah, it's easy, but I think the difficulty, how do you step onto this note? Could you check this? Can you try it slowly, very slowly? What do you hear? What do you feel?
Yes, it's easier. The
That's-
sound is easier.
Great. Could you finish just with the last two scherzando group? Tara, 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 tara. Thank you very much. Great job. Very nice job, Javier. Thank you very much. So I'm afraid of that we arrived to the end of this beautiful day and this great workshop. I would like to thank you first, your help, and I'm very happy that finally we meet again. Unfortunately, in this because of the pandemic, in this distant way. But for us, it was a really nice experience for my students as well, and I hope you too.
Yeah. Csaba, thank you very, very much for this masterclass. I want to congratulate you and all your students this morning. It's been amazing, the level of the clarinet class in Liszt Academy. We are very impressed. It was very, very nice, very good playing. And in the afternoon, thank you so much for the insight into the Hungarian composer music, because it has given us a lot of information and inspiration and motivation. So thank you very, very, very much. It has been a pleasure.
It was our pleasure, and I'm very thankful for your job and for your students. I really enjoyed all of the moments. Also the morning and the afternoon, I was very happy to work with you, and for me also it was a very nice journey to know better these Spanish and even some Hungarian pieces. So thank you very much, and I would like to also thank you to your colleagues, to your school, to your institute, that they were so flexible to do this. And on my behalf, I would like to thank my colleagues from the Aviso studio and from the international department, that they helped us to create this project. We learned a lot under these couple of days. And I really hope that we can do this also in a personal way in the near future. And
Me too. We are looking forward to listen to you live. But yeah, it's been great to listen to you this way. And I would also like to thank to the Liszt Academy to give us the opportunity for this workshop. It's been very very fruitful for all of us. So yeah, hopefully it won't be the last one. We've also learned a lot about IT, and hopefully next time, yeah, well, it will work well from the very beginning. But anyhow, it's been a pleasure, and thank you very much.
thank you. It was a pleasure for us. And you will be the first who will join us and who will come to Hungary. Keep in mind, okay? Take care and have a safe and healthy year, okay? Thank you very much, and
Yeah, you
take
too.
care. Keep
Thank
in
you very
touch.
much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.